Selena, Chapter 1. Room 158, The Shooting. March 31st, 1995, 11:48 a.m. Days Inn Motel, Corpus Christi, Texas. Room 158, a gunshot, then screaming. Selena Quintanilla Pérez, 23 years old, burst out of the motel room. Blood poured from her right shoulder. She was trying to run, but her legs were giving out. "Help me! Help me!" she screamed. "I've been shot!" Behind her, in the doorway of room 158, stood Yolanda Saldivar, 34 years old, holding a .38 caliber revolver. Yolanda was Selena's fan club president, her boutique manager, her trusted friend, and now, her killer. Selena stumbled through the motel parking lot, leaving a trail of blood. She made it to the lobby. The desk clerk, Shauna Vella, saw her collapse. "Lock the door," Selena gasped. "She has a gun." Selena identified her shooter. "Yolanda, room 158. Then she collapsed. The bullet had severed an artery. Selena was bleeding out. Paramedics arrived within minutes. They rushed her to Corpus Christi Memorial Hospital. But the damage was catastrophic. The bullet had cut through a major blood vessel. Selena had lost too much blood. At 1:05 p.m., Selena Quintanilla Pérez was pronounced dead. The brightest star in Tejano music was gone, shot by the woman she'd trusted most. Back at the Days Inn, Yolanda Saldivar locked herself in her pickup truck in the parking lot. She held the gun to her own head. Police surrounded her. For 9 hours, Yolanda held police at bay. She threatened suicide. She made rambling phone calls. She claimed it was an accident. At 9:30 p.m., she finally surrendered. The woman who'd spent years worshipping Selena had killed her, and the question that would haunt everyone was, why? Now I'm going to tell you the real story, not the sanitized version from movies and documentaries, but the truth about how Selena's family let a dangerous woman get too close, how they ignored the warning signs, and how their negligence cost Selena her life. Chapter 2. Lake Jackson, the girl with the voice, April 16th, 1971. Lake Jackson, Texas, a small town between Houston and the Gulf Coast. Selena Quintanilla was born to Abraham Quintanilla Jr. and Marcela Ofelia Zamora. She was the youngest of 3 children, older siblings, A.B., Abraham III, and Suzette. The Quintanilla family wasn't rich, but they weren't poor either. Abraham Sr. had been a musician in his youth, playing in a band called Los Dinos. But when he married and had kids, he gave up music for steady work. He never stopped dreaming about music, though. And when he discovered that his youngest daughter had a gift, Abraham saw his second chance. Selena was 6 years old when her father heard her sing for the first time. She had perfect pitch, natural rhythm, and a voice that was pure, powerful, and way beyond her years. Abraham immediately started training her. He formed a family band, Selena y Los Dinos, Selena on vocals, A.B. on bass, Suzette on drums. But there was a problem. Selena didn't speak Spanish. The Quintanilla family was Mexican-American, but they'd been raised speaking English. Spanish was their heritage, but not their first language. Abraham insisted Selena learn to sing in Spanish. "That's where the money is," he said. Tejano music. Tejano was a genre of Mexican-American music popular in Texas. It blended traditional Mexican sounds with country, rock, and pop, and it was dominated by men. Abraham saw an opportunity. A young, beautiful girl singing Tejano? That would be revolutionary. So Selena learned Spanish phonetically. She'd memorized the sounds without always understanding the meanings, but when she sang, you'd never know. Her pronunciation was flawless, her emotion genuine. By age 9, Selena was performing at the family restaurant, Papagayos, in Lake Jackson. Customers loved her, but the restaurant failed. The family lost everything. In 1982, the Quintanillas moved to Corpus Christi and started over. They lived in poverty. Sometimes they didn't have electricity. Sometimes they didn't have food, but they had music, and Selena kept performing. Abraham was relentless. He booked Selena at weddings, quinceañeras, county fairs, anywhere that would pay. The family traveled in a beat-up van, sleeping in it sometimes because they couldn't afford hotels. Selena never complained. She loved singing. She loved making people happy, and she trusted her father completely. That trust would later prove dangerous. Chapter 3. The Rise. Breaking into Tejano. Selena was 16 and starting to get noticed in the Tejano music scene. But Tejano was a male-dominated world. Female singers were rare, and the men in the industry didn't take them seriously. Selena faced constant sexism. Promoters wouldn't book her. Radio stations wouldn't play her. Audiences would boo when she came on stage just because she was a woman. But Selena kept pushing, and her talent was undeniable. In 1987, she won Female Vocalist of the Year at the Tejano Music Awards. She was only 16. It was the first of many. Then, in 1989, Selena signed with EMI Latin, a major label. Suddenly, she had resources, better production, national distribution. Her albums started selling. Her concerts started selling out, and Selena started becoming a phenomenon. By 1990, Selena was the queen of Tejano music. She'd won multiple awards. She was performing to crowds of 60,000 plus. She was making real money. But fame brought new challenges. Fans became obsessive. They wanted to touch her, talk to her, own a piece of her. And Abraham, always protective, decided Selena needed structure around her fan interactions. A fan club, merchandising, a business operation. That's where Yolanda Saldivar came in. Chapter 4. Yolanda, the fan who became family. Yolanda Saldivar was a 30-year-old registered nurse working in San Antonio. She was obsessed with Selena. She had every album, attended every concert she could, covered her walls with Selena posters. But Yolanda wanted more. She wanted to be part of Selena's world. In early 1991, Yolanda approached Abraham Quintanilla with an idea. "Let me start an official Selena fan club." Abraham was interested. A fan club could organize Selena's fan base, sell merchandise, create community. Yolanda was professional, organized, and seemed genuinely passionate about Selena. Abraham said yes. Yolanda threw herself into the work. She recruited members. She organized events. She created a newsletter. The fan club grew rapidly, eventually reaching 9,000 members. And Yolanda became indispensable. She started hanging around the family more, doing favors, running errands, making herself useful. Selena liked her. Yolanda was older, maternal, protective. She reminded Selena of an aunt, someone who cared about her as a person, not just as a star. Yolanda gave Selena gifts constantly, expensive gifts, jewelry, clothes, a ring that cost $3,000. Where was the money coming from? Yolanda was a nurse. She shouldn't have been able to afford these things, but nobody asked. They just accepted the gifts. In 1993, Abraham expanded Yolanda's role. He put her in charge of 2 Selena etc. boutiques, one in Corpus Christi, one in San Antonio. These were fashion boutiques selling Selena-designed clothing and accessories. Yolanda now controlled the fan club, with access to thousands of members' money, 2 retail boutiques with cash flow and inventory, Selena's trust and friendship. This was a dangerous amount of power for someone the family barely knew. But Abraham trusted her, Selena trusted her, and Yolanda was about to betray them both. Chapter 5. The Embezzlement, Stealing from the Fans, 1994-1995. Warning signs started appearing. Fan club members complained they'd paid dues, but never received membership materials. Employees at the boutiques reported missing inventory. Checks bounced. At first, Abraham dismissed the complaints. "Yolanda's busy," he'd say. "She'll get to it." But the complaints kept coming, and they were getting harder to ignore. In January 1995, Abraham started investigating. He reviewed financial records. He talked to employees, and he discovered the truth. Yolanda Saldivar had been embezzling for months, possibly years. She was, taking fan club membership fees and not delivering materials, stealing money from boutique registers, writing unauthorized checks to herself, forging documents. The exact amount was unclear. Estimates ranged from $30,000 to $400,000, but it was substantial. Abraham was furious, but he was also embarrassed. He'd put Yolanda in charge. He'd trusted her. This reflected badly on him. He wanted to handle it quietly. No police, no public scandal. Just get the money back and cut ties. But Selena was devastated. Yolanda was her friend. How could she do this? Selena wanted to give Yolanda a chance to explain, to make it right. That mercy would cost Selena her life. Chapter 6. The Confrontation, March 31st, 1995, March 9th, 1995. Abraham confronted Yolanda about the missing money. She claimed she was being framed by jealous employees. She cried. She begged for more time to prove her innocence. Abraham gave her an ultimatum: return the financial records by the end of the month, or he'd go to the police. Yolanda stalled. She made excuses. She avoided meetings. On March 30th, 1995, Yolanda called Selena in hysterics. She claimed she'd been raped in Monterrey, Mexico. She needed Selena's help. She needed to go to a hospital. Selena, kind-hearted and worried, agreed to help. She picked up Yolanda and drove her to a hospital in Corpus Christi. But the rape exam found no evidence of assault. The doctor suspected Yolanda was lying. Still, Selena stayed with Yolanda. They talked until 3 a.m. Yolanda cried. She said she was suicidal. She said she couldn't live with the accusations. Selena felt torn. She wanted to believe Yolanda, but the evidence of embezzlement was clear. The next morning, March 31st, Selena agreed to meet Yolanda one more time. Yolanda said she had financial documents to return. They agreed to meet at the Days Inn motel where Yolanda was staying. Selena drove to the motel alone. She didn't tell her husband, Chris Pérez, where she was going. She didn't bring security. She thought she'd collect the documents and leave. She had no idea Yolanda had bought a gun. Chapter 7. Room 158. What really happened? March 31st, 1995, 11:30 a.m. Selena arrived at the Days Inn, room 158. What happened in that room is known only from Yolanda's statements, which changed multiple times. Version 1. To police during standoff. It was an accident. The gun went off while I was trying to kill myself. Selena got in the way. Version 2. During trial. I was showing Selena the gun to prove I was going to kill myself. She tried to grab it. It went off accidentally. Version 3. To prosecutors. Selena came at me. The gun went off in the struggle. None of these stories made sense. The forensic evidence told a different story. The evidence: the bullet entered Selena's back near the right shoulder. The trajectory was downward. This suggests Selena was turned away from Yolanda, not facing her, not struggling for the gun. The wound was clean. No powder burns on Selena's clothing. This means the gun was fired from at least 3 feet away, not in a close struggle. The placement of the shot, severing the subclavian artery, was almost perfectly lethal. Whether intentional or lucky, for Yolanda, it was the worst possible place to be shot. Prosecutors believe this is what happened. Selena confronted Yolanda about the documents. Yolanda didn't have them. She'd been lying. The conversation became heated. Selena said she was done. She was leaving. She turned toward the door, and Yolanda, in a rage, or perhaps in a calculated decision to eliminate the witness to her crimes, pulled out the gun and fired. Selena ran, and Yolanda, realizing what she'd done, locked herself in her truck and played the victim. Chapter 8. The Aftermath. A city in mourning. When news broke that Selena had been shot, Corpus Christi shut down. Thousands of fans rushed to the hospital. They prayed, they cried, they held vigils. When Selena was pronounced dead at 1:05 p.m., the wail of grief could be heard throughout the city. Radio stations played Selena's music non-stop. Businesses closed, Schools dismissed early. People sobbed in the streets. Selena's death hit the Latino community like a bomb. She'd been their princess, their crossover hope, their pride, and she'd been taken by someone she trusted. The funeral was held on April 3rd, 1995. Over 60,000 people attended or lined the streets. It was the largest funeral in Corpus Christi history. Selena's body was in a glass-topped casket. She wore a purple outfit. Her makeup was perfect. She looked like she was sleeping, but she was gone at 23 years old, just as she was about to break into English language mainstream music. Her crossover album, Dreaming of You, was released posthumously in July 1995. It debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200, the first album by a Latina artist to do so. It sold 175,000 copies on its first day, over 2 million in the first year. It proved what Selena could have been, but she'd never see it, because Yolanda Saldivar had murdered her. Chapter 9. The Trial. Justice for Selena. October 1995. The trial of Yolanda Saldivar began in Houston, Texas. The venue was moved from Corpus Christi due to pre-trial publicity. Yolanda's defense was simple. It was an accident. She'd been suicidal. The gun went off when Selena tried to take it from her. But the prosecution tore that story apart. The evidence, the gun purchase. On March 26th, 5 days before the murder, Yolanda bought a .38 caliber revolver. She told the gun dealer she needed it for protection. Protection from what? The bullet trajectory. The forensics showed Selena was shot from behind, not during a struggle. The lack of powder burns. The shot was fired from feet away, not close contact. Yolanda's behavior. After shooting Selena, Yolanda didn't call 911. She didn't render aid. She got in a truck and locked the doors. The financial motive. Yolanda had embezzled thousands. Selena was about to expose her. Killing Selena eliminated the primary witness. The defense tried to paint Yolanda as a victim, a devoted fan who'd been falsely accused and who'd snapped under pressure, but the jury didn't buy it. On October 23rd, 1995, after 2 hours of deliberation, the jury found Yolanda Saldivar guilty of first-degree murder. She was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 30 years. Yolanda showed no emotion. The Quintanilla family wept with relief, but justice couldn't bring Selena back. Chapter 10. Yolanda's prison life, the monster behind bars. Yolanda Saldivar is currently serving her life sentence at the Mountain View unit in Gatesville, Texas. She's been in protective custody for most of her sentence. Why? Because other inmates want to kill her. Selena is beloved in the Latino community, and in prison, Yolanda is seen as the ultimate traitor. Inmates have assaulted her multiple times. Yolanda has given very few interviews, but in the ones she has given, she's maintained her innocence. In a 2018 interview from prison, Yolanda said, "It was an accident. I loved Selena. I would never hurt her. That gun was for me. I was going to kill myself." But she also said things that revealed her delusion. Selena and I had a special relationship. Her family was jealous. They wanted to separate us. That's why they accused me of stealing. The Quintanillas used me. They threw me away when they didn't need me anymore. Psychologists who've reviewed the case believe Yolanda suffered from erotomania, a delusion where someone believes a famous person is in love with them. Yolanda believed she and Selena had a special bond, that Selena needed her, that she was protecting Selena from her family. When that delusion was shattered, when Selena sided with her family over Yolanda, Yolanda snapped. She couldn't have Selena, so no one could. Yolanda will be eligible for parole in 2025. She'll be 64 years old. The Quintanilla family has vowed to fight her release at every parole hearing. "She took our daughter," Abraham said. "She should never get out." Chapter 11. The family's guilt. Could they have prevented this? In the years since Selena's death, one question haunts the Quintanilla family. Could we have stopped this? The answer is yes. There were warning signs, red flags that Abraham and the family ignored. One, they didn't vet Yolanda. When Yolanda first approached Abraham about starting a fan club, he didn't do a background check. He didn't ask for references. He just said yes because she seemed enthusiastic. Two, they gave her too much power too fast. Within 2 years, Yolanda controlled the fan club and 2 boutiques. That's access to hundreds of thousands of dollars. Why would you trust a virtual stranger with that? 3, they ignored complaints. For months, fans and employees complained about Yolanda, missing money, missing merchandise, rude behavior. The family dismissed these as jealousy. 4, they let Selena get too close to Yolanda. Selena saw Yolanda as a friend, but Yolanda was an employee. The family should have maintained boundaries. 5, they sent Selena to confront Yolanda alone. On March 31st, Abraham knew Yolanda was a thief. He knew she was unstable. He knew she'd claimed to be raped, a lie. And he let Selena go to that motel room alone. No security, no backup. That decision killed Selena. In interviews after Selena's death, Abraham has expressed regret. I should have gone myself. I should have protected her. That's my burden. But regret doesn't bring Selena back. Suzette, Selena's sister, has said, "We trusted the wrong person. We let her in, and she destroyed us." The family learned a painful lesson. Fame attracts predators, and you can't trust everyone who says they love you. Chapter 12, The Legacy, What Selena Could Have Been. Selena died on the verge of superstardom. Her English-language crossover album, Dreaming of You, was nearly complete. It was going to introduce Selena to mainstream America. Early tracks showed her versatility. Pop, R&B, ballads, dance music. Selena could do it all. Record executives believed Selena would be the next big thing, the Latino Madonna, the Mexican-American Whitney Houston. She had everything, the voice, the look, the charisma, the work ethic. In 1995, she was preparing to film a movie with Gregory Nava, who later directed the 1997 biopic about her. She was designing a fashion line. She was opening more boutiques. She and Chris Pérez, her husband, were talking about starting a family. Selena wanted children. All of that ended on March 31st, 1995. What Selena left behind, she proved Latina artists could dominate mainstream music, paved the way for Jennifer Lopez, Shakira, Beyoncé's collaborations with Latino artists. She broke barriers in Tejano music, a genre that once rejected female performers. She became a cultural icon for Mexican Americans. She showed that you could stay true to your heritage while reaching for crossover success. Her influence today, MAC. Cosmetics released a Selena makeup collection in 2016, sold out in minutes. Netflix produced a series about her life, 2020. Her music still sells, over 30 million records worldwide. There's a Selena museum in Corpus Christi, Google. Doodle honored her in 2017. Texas observes Selena Day on April 16th, her birthday. But the biggest what-if remains. What if Yolanda hadn't killed her? Selena would be 53 years old today. She could have been a global superstar. She could have had children. She could have done so much more. Instead, she's frozen at 23, forever young, forever the Queen of Tejano. Chapter 13, The Movie, J-Lo's Breakthrough. Director Gregory Nava released Selena, starring Jennifer Lopez. The movie was a massive hit. It introduced Selena's story to millions who'd never heard of her, and it launched Jennifer Lopez's career. J-Lo was a backup dancer turned actress. Selena made her a star, but the movie wasn't without controversy. Some fans felt J-Lo wasn't Latina enough. She's Puerto Rican, not Mexican American. Others thought the movie sanitized Selena's story, making it too family-friendly. The movie barely touches on Yolanda's embezzlement. It doesn't show the extent of the family's negligence. It presents Selena as a perfect angel and Yolanda as a random psycho. But the truth is more complicated. Selena was human. She made mistakes. She trusted the wrong person. Still, the movie served its purpose. It kept Selena's memory alive. And it showed the world what was lost. Chapter 14. Chris Pérez, the widower's pain. Chris Pérez, Selena's husband, was destroyed by her death. Chris was Selena's guitarist. They'd fallen in love in secret. Abraham initially disapproved. They eloped in 1992. Their marriage was young, only 3 years old when Selena died. But they were deeply in love. After Selena's death, Chris fell apart. He started drinking heavily. He couldn't perform. He couldn't function. In 1996, Chris formed a band, the Chris Pérez Band, as a way to channel his grief. The band had moderate success, but eventually disbanded. In 2001, Chris remarried. He had 2 children. He tried to move on, but in 2008, he divorced his second wife. In 2012, Chris published a memoir, To Selena with Love. In it, he wrote about his enduring love for Selena. I've loved other people. I've tried to move on, but Selena will always be my first love, my greatest love, the one I lost too soon. Chris has since remarried again. He still performs. He keeps Selena's memory alive, but he's never fully healed. How could he? Epilogue. The question that remains, why did Yolanda do it? Was it the embezzlement? Was she eliminating a witness? Was it obsession? Did she snap when Selena rejected her? Was it jealousy? Did she hate that she could never be Selena? We may never know. Yolanda has never given a consistent answer, and the truth probably died with Selena. But here's what we do know. Yolanda Saldivar was a predator who wormed her way into a family's trust. She exploited that trust. She stole from fans. And when she was caught, she murdered the woman she claimed to love. The Quintanilla family trusted the wrong person. They ignored warning signs. They let Selena walk into danger. And on March 31st, 1995, the world lost a star who should have shined for decades. Selena's legacy lives on. Her music still plays. Her story still inspires. But she should be here. She should be 53 years old, living her life, making music, raising a family. Instead, she's a memory, a symbol, a what could have been. And Yolanda Saldivar sits in a Texas prison, the woman who killed Tejano music's brightest star.